Let's turn attention to other stories. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has pardoned tens of thousands of prisoners, including many linked to anti-government protests. State media reports that the pardons by Iranian leader came on the eve of the anniversary of the Islamic Revolution of 1979. Demonstrations erupted in the country last September following the death of a woman arrested by morality police for allegedly wearing her hijab or headscarf in violation of Iran's strict dress code for women. Authorities portrayed the protest as foreign-backed riots and has on different occasions responded with lethal force. Iran's state media says Ayatollah Khamenei's latest pardons came after a letter from the head of the judiciary framed many of those detained as young people who would have been led astray by foreign influence and propaganda. And to China, where the national security trial of dozens of people have begun in Hong Kong more than 2 years after they were arrested in pre-dawn police raids across the territory. The defendants are accused of subversion after organizing an unofficial primary to choose their candidates for the 2020 Legislative Council election. Prosecutors have described the primary as a vicious plot to subvert government and wreak mutual destruction on it by taking control of the city's legislature. The Chinese government soon declared the primary illegal. The September Legislative Council elections were then postponed, with authorities citing the pandemic as the reason. Under the security law, the defendants face up to 3 years in prison for conspiracy to commit subversive activities, between 3 and 10 years imprisonment for active participation in the conspiracy, and between 10 years and life imprisonment if they are deemed principal offenders. And Ukraine's outgoing defense minister has said the country is anticipating a new Russian offensive later this month. At a news conference, Alexei Reznikov said not all Western weaponry will have arrived by then, but Ukraine had enough reserves to hold off Russian forces. President Volodymyr Zelensky said troops were fighting fiercely in Bakhmut, Volodya and Lyman. We have more in this report.
On the 25th of January, Germany bowed to pressure and agreed to send Leopard 2 tanks to aid Ukraine in repelling Russia's invasion. But the weapons seem not to be forthcoming as Ukraine is expecting another wave of attack from Russia. While addressing journalists, Ukraine's defense minister said not all Western weaponry will have arrived by the time of the attack, but Ukraine had enough reserves to hold off Russian forces. So far, Ukraine has won support from Baltic nations and Poland in its quest to obtain Western fighter jets. But several Western leaders have expressed concern that providing warplanes could provoke the Kremlin and draw their countries deeper into the conflict. Kiev says such jets are essential to challenging Russia's air superiority and ensuring success in a Russian offensive that could most likely come to a year on the 24th of February. Since the war began, Western officials have balked at some of Ukraine's requests, such as long-range missiles and tanks, only to agree later. The warplanes are the latest example. The Kremlin has held its position that Western countries' supply of increasingly sophisticated weapons would only prolong the conflict and has characterized NATO as a direct participant in the war. Despite the flow of Western weapons to Ukraine, Russia has made gains around the Bakhmut area in recent days, as Russia's army has been attempting to seize control of Bakhmut for months. Happening elsewhere, Ukraine is set to replace the Minister of Defense with the chief of its military spy agency in a high-profile cabinet reshuffle following corruption scandals. The minister is expected to take up another ministerial job and replaced by the head of Ukraine's GUR military intelligence agency. He has helped secure Western weapons to strengthen the Ukrainian forces, and his removal as defense minister would be the highest profile government change in a slew of resignations and sackings following a corruption scandal. The scandal involved food contracts that envisaged paying vastly inflated prices. Amidst the public outcry, one of Mr. Reznikov's deputy ministers has been fired, while 2 other senior officials have also since left their posts.
And finally, on the What Now, Nigerian singer Tems has won the coveted Grammy Prize for her effort on the track Wait For You alongside rappers Future and Drake. The track picked up the win in the Best Melodic Rap Performance category, beating DJ Khaled's Beautiful Kendrick Lamar's Die Hard, amongst others. Compatriot Burna Boy, however, lost in his quest for a second Grammy trophy after being nominated in Best Global Album and Best Global Music Performance categories.